Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and apologies for the lack of content over the last few weeks. My health has not been good, shall we say. As you know, I do have a chronic fatigue kind of problem, and a few weeks ago I started getting quite bad, and basically I got to the point where I couldn't really do very much. I thought, right, I need to have a rest, and started feeling a bit better, and then cracked on with a project I needed to do for someone and absolutely wiped myself out again. I basically started doing things too soon. Absolutely knocked myself out again. Spent another week or so basically not being able to do pretty much anything. Started feeling a little bit better again, and then this weather hit us, this rather hot, muggy, unbreathable weather we've got at the moment, and it's really hit me on a bit of a setback again. I'm struggling a little bit at the moment, shall we say, with the temperatures. No matter where I go, I end up just absolutely bathed in sweat if I do any kind of assertion or anything, even daft simple things you'd expect, you know, even if it was a little bit warm, you could do. Even like working on a laptop and typing on a computer, and I'm having to stop because the amount of sweat's running off me is just running on the keyboard, and I'm going to shut the keyboard out if I keep on typing. So basically, yeah, I've not been very good. I'm actually down in the workshop now because, believe it or not, this is the coolest place in the house. It's cooler in here than it is outside, because the roof, this used to be an old garage, and when I converted it into the workshop, I put a lot of insulation in the roof, so despite it only being a single story and everything, it's actually really quite cool in here, providing I don't actually start doing anything. As soon as I actually start doing something, again, I'm absolutely bathed in sweat and I'm exhausted again. But what I thought I'd do in this video, obviously I normally put a car boots pickups video out whenever I've been to a car boot sale or something. I pick something interesting up. I've actually been to a couple of car boot sales over this, since I last posted a video. I went to Smithfield Market quite a while ago, actually, just after I'd posted that last video. And the Sunday after that, I shouldn't have really gone, because again, that was when I was starting to feel a bit better, but I wasn't really up to it, and I shouldn't have really gone because it was, again, quite warm at the time. And I picked a few things up, but I got them home actually intending to make a video that night to put my usual car boots pickups videos, but ended up for like the next 2 days pretty much in bed, not being able to do very much. So that kind of went out of the window, and literally everything that I bought from then just ended up on the workbench in here, just not being touched. I then didn't literally go to a car boot sale for a few weeks, mainly because of the weather, because it was raining every single one thing, and another because I was just not feeling up to it. I did go to Chelford last weekend. Again, I don't really think I should have gone. I was feeling a little bit better, but this was when the weather really started to get warm, and I think I got a little bit heat exhausted while I was there, while I was travelling up there and things like that. That wasn't particularly good. Again, I picked a couple of little bits up there. As well as that, I've actually got something that's come in the post. It's not really vintage or anything, but I thought we'd have a quick squiz at it while I'm doing this video, and an interesting computer which I picked up off eBay. Now that I did actually go and pick up. It was fairly local to me, and I was feeling a little better at the time. So I did take a trip from where I live up to Warrington, which is around about 30 miles away from me, to pick a rather interesting Amstrad computer up, which we'll get into in a minute. Anyway, so what I'll do, I'll set the camera back up and we can have a quick look at some of the things I've been picking up over these last few weeks. I'm not going to do anything with them in this video, but I thought I'd show you what I've picked up, and kind of prices and things I've paid and what have you, so you can see here what we've got coming up in the future. people have meant, you know, I've seen a few comments of what I'm doing with the Siemens and stuff. I've literally got the hard drive out of that set up in my office on my Bridge PC. I've got raw copy, I think it is, set up on the computer and everything, ready to make that video. The problem is it is incredibly warm in my front office, and if I don't have to go in there at the moment, I'm not going in there, because I can't stand more than about 5 or 10 minutes sat in there without starting to make me feel really unwell. Anyway, enough of me and my ailings. Like I said, I'll reset the camera and we can have a look at some of these interesting bits of junk that I've picked up. So back in a sec. Right, okay, we're all set up on the bench. I've got myself a beverage, seeing it is so bloody warm at the moment. Right, now this first lot, this is what I picked up, like I said, quite a few weeks ago now from Smithfield. And we've got a computer lot here, basically. Nothing that fancy, but let's have a look through it, because I've literally not touched this since I bought it. Like I said, I brought it down, I put it in the workshop in here to do a video that night, and started feeling very unwell, and I haven't touched this bag since. So I know what's in here, but we'll still be refreshing ourselves a little bit. We have a Hewlett-Packard PS2 ball mouse. Just another useful, you know, you can never have too many mice, basically. And it's a scroll mouse and everything. Not particularly vintage, probably around about 2000 or so. So yeah, it's 20 years old, isn't it? But yeah, we've got a PS2 ball mouse there. We have, and this is for the this will be for the hard drive archaeology pile, which I need to really do the part 2 on that, because I've got systems we can play with all those hard drives that we was testing and going through. We have another hard drive. We have a Seagate ST3660A here. This is a 545 megabyte, so it's a nice size for our vintage systems, messing with vintage computers and what have you. Again, I don't know whether it works or not, so this is one we'll do some hard drive archaeology on. See if we can get it working, see if there's anything interesting on it. So we have that, and then this is what I really bought the lot for, and I haven't been through it yet, but we've got someone's disc box. Now, I'm usually very wary of buying disc boxes, especially from, you know, car boot sales and stuff, because usually I will buy them, but I buy them for the value of the disc box, not for the discs in them, because 9 times out of 10 the discs are no good. You know, they've got fungus on them, and they're not going to read. All they're going to do is gack up your disc drive. I did actually have a quick squeeze at a couple of these discs while I was at the car boot, and they actually look reasonable, so I did pay well, I paid one lot for the whole lot, but I suppose, yeah, I didn't pay very much if you break them up like that. Let's see what we've got in here though. We've got Microsoft Windows for Workgroups, that's disc 5. If I actually look at the discs like that and I spin them round, the disc media itself looks in really good condition. I can't see any little fungal spots or growth spots or anything on that disc. Actually, like I say, it looks in fantastic condition. So I think these were stored somewhere good. You know, they weren't stored in someone's garden shed or anything for 10 years. I think they were like stuck in, you know, the back of an office or something like that. So anyway, let's see what we've got. We've got disc 5, we've got disc 6. Again, it looks in really nice condition. We've got these discs. This is Vastec Limited library discs. 1, 2, 3 worksheets. 1 of 3, 3 of 3. We've got another of the Windows for Workgroups discs there. That's disc 8. Let's see if we've got a full set of Windows for Workgroups, because that would be really nice. I mean, I have got it, but I don't have it on original discs. That would be really cool if it has actually got the full. We've got, I think that says, oh, it's Prince CG2, so is that Princess Persia or something? Has that got some games on it? We'll have to, again, look at that. PC Plus Super Disc, so that's a magazine cover disc. It's a double-sided, double density disc as well. But again, it's in super nice condition. There's no there's no sign of any mould or anything on that disc. So that should read. I've got another, so we've got disc, what have we got here now? We've got 8, we've got 4, 5, 6 and 8 at the moment. Let's see if we can find the rest of them. We've got formatted and it says D paint on it, so it's like deluxe paint. We've got golf and it says FS3 on it. So some of the, we might even fire the computer up in a bit and see what's actually on these. We've got another super disc. Oh wow, that's quite cool. This is PC Plus issue 67 April 1992. Inside information on the general election. Some of these are going to be worth having a little look at, I think. We've got these Vastec again, 123 worksheet. And these again are double-sided double density discs, which are always useful. I am actually quite short of them now. So if they've not got anything that's interesting on them, I've got 3 nice discs we can use if nothing else. And yeah, they're in really, really nice condition. In fact, they've got some more of them, so that's... We'll see what it is, but at the moment we've got some discs that are probably really good for blanking and reusing. And like I said, double density discs are getting harder to get. The PC Plus Help Screen Collection. And we've got computer training software support, World Atlas. Computer training software support, Basic Tutor. Computer training software support, As Easy As. It's a spreadsheet, isn't it? Right, let's carry on. I'm really curious to see, have we got what's this? Oh, Avetti Software Library Tutorial PCS 286. Another of those Vasatec discs. Page Financial Controller. Aha. What's disc 7? So we've got disc 6, disc 7, disc 8. So we've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So far so good. Italy 90 and a chess game. So we might have some games here we can mess about with. Ford Simulator disc 1. Windows for Workgroups disc 1, disc 2, disc 3. So yes, indeed, we've got the full set of Windows for Workgroups discs. 16-bit audio card, installation disc, but it doesn't tell us what the audio card is, but we'll check what that is. We've got another Ford Simulator disc 2. And again, those are all double density discs, so if the stuff that's on them no good, the discs are certainly very, very useful. That's Paymaster, tax. We've got Avetti Software Library, we've got MS-DOS version 3.3a. PC Plus, so again another cover disc, software cover disc. Amstrad Accounts Master. That says page data files, blank. We've got loads of these cover discs, which is quite cool. PC Plus issue 60, 1991. What have we got on that? Constructor C. It's got all, you know, these we're going to have need a video of their own, I think. We've got some really cool old shareware and PC cover discs here. Yeah, Super Disc 2, Page Plus for Windows. Some of these, like I said, they're still in there. That's never been opened. That is still sealed in its packet. That is awesome. PC Plus as easy as. Again, Nitwit. Computer training software support. Right, what have we got here? Print Master. Another Super Disc again. Yeah, another one sealed in its packet. I don't think that's ever been opened. Page Plus for Windows 3. Yeah, 1992. PC Plus Lead Master. Yeah, 1992 again. Got another Super Disc. Power Menu. So the June 1991. We've got all sorts of stuff on here. Over 1 megabyte of software. This is September 1992. April 1991. And then we've got, August 1991. What else have we got in here? Formatted 19 for the second 90, Security C. Same, the 9 for the 4th 90, Security VPP worksheets. So some of these I'm going to have to just format because obviously these are going to have some personal data on them. I don't know what that is. The Secretary Bird. The Software Toolworks, IBM and Compatibles, Disc 1. Another Super Disc, another Super Disc, and another Super Disc. And VP Planer version 2 master copy. And a load of backups, menu.bat, menu.text. So basically a load of someone's backups. Right, so that is like super cool. We've got all those cover discs to go through, and as I've said, when we've looked at these and we actually look at the actual disc media inside, it looks in excellent condition. I think all these will actually work. So many times when you find disc boxes, especially like on car boot sales and stuff like that, you know, they might have spent nearly 20 years, you know, 15 years in a shed or a garage or something like that, and yeah, the disc box is okay, the disc box will clean up and we can reuse it, but mostly the discs are of no use at all. Like I said, they've developed that fungus that discs like to develop, and it's basically absolutely ruined the discs. I'm really surprised I haven't found something like a DOS 5 or a DOS 6 in here, actually, considering we've got a full set of Windows for Workgroups discs there. We seem to have DOS version 3.3. And it looks like whatever this was used with an Olivetti PC. So we've learnt a little bit of the history of it there. But I think that disc box is probably worth a video on its own. We'll get a nice suitable PC, probably the Bridge PC or something, set up, and and we can actually go through all the software. In fact, we'll combine having a look at that hard drive, I think, and what's on those discs, actually make sure that some of them actually do work, and go through some of them other discs, have a look at some of them cover discs and things like that. So I think that'd be a really cool thing to do with those. So yeah, that's the first thing that we got. Like I say, I picked that up at Smithfield Market quite a few weeks ago now. This actually came from my usual seller there, the chap that just piles it high and sells it cheap. And I paid a £5 for the lot, so I mean, if you consider the mouse a quid, but took a couple of quid for the hard drive, a couple of quid for the disc box. I can't say I did I didn't do bad there, did I? Really, if you think about it like that, I think I did really, really well. Anyway, so I'll get those out of the way, and we can have a look at the next thing. Now, the next thing is something I actually picked up on eBay, and what we've got here, these aren't particularly vintage, but they will get a few projects I've got part done and I want to get out of the way finished. We've got a box of CPUs. Now, these are mostly i3 CPUs, but apparently there's a couple of Xeons in there which I'm not that mithered about, but there are some at least 2 i5 CPUs in here as well. Now, they have all apparently are tested working CPUs. It was a chap who was basically retired. He no longer does refurbished PCs or anything. He was just selling off everything that he had that was all PC related, so these were fairly cheap. What did I pay for? I think it was under 20 quid for this entire box. So like I said, they weren't expensive. They're not like the latest CPUs or anything, but they will mean that, like I said, I've got at least 2 systems. One is that one that come from the flooded basement that I got going again with a new motherboard. But although the CPU on that works, it's like the lowest of the low CPUs that actually work on like the i-series platform. It's not, you know, hyper-threading CPU or anything. I want to be able to use that computer for doing a little bit of CAD work for somebody. And to do that, I need something with a little bit beefier CPU, so an i5 in it, and it would actually be able to do what I want it to do. So hence why I picked this up. Plus the computer that I use actually in my bedroom for like streaming YouTube and stuff like that. That's just in a rather lowy i3 in it at the moment, so obviously the other one could up that, or even one of the better i3s that's in here might be better than what's in there at the moment. So at least some of these are quite nicely packaged. We've got a Xeon there. I think these are the i5s. Probably not the best things to keep them in is a bag which is going to generate a hell of a lot of static. Oh, these are i3s. So I've got 2.93 gig i3 there. Needs a damn good clean, but apart from that it should work. And that one is a that's a 3.3 gig. So that, in fact, that would probably do in my computer in my bedroom, because all I use that computer for, it runs Linux, and I literally just use it for streaming streaming YouTube and stuff like that off it. So Rumble and YouTube and stuff like that, that's all that gets used for. So that would be a nice upgrade for that computer. I think it's only like 1.9 gig or something like that, the CPU that's currently in it. Let's see which these are. I will find something better to put them in than this rather nasty bubble wrap as well. Let's have a look what these are. Well, these are i3s as well. And we have a, that's a 2.93. And that is a 3 point something, I can't quite make that out. Probably 3.3, the same as the other one. I'll put those in there for now, but I will find something better to... in fact, I've got some proper cases these can go in, anti-static ones. Let's see what else we've got here. This is more like it. This is really how you want to see them packaged. Just have to wipe the sweat off me because I'm starting to perspire quite bad at the moment. Just bear with me a second. There we go. That's better. Right, now let's continue on. And again we have got another i3 there, 3.2 gig. Looks in really nice condition. And another one, that's another 2.9 gig. Can you get a board that dual processor board that'll take these rather than a Xeon? So I've got enough of them. It might be worth getting a dual CPU board to use a couple of them because I've got matched ones there. Right. Have a look here. Ah, here we are, I think. That is a those are very old Xeons, are they? A couple of bent pins on that. Not really anything that's much of interest to me then, to be totally honest. But where are those two i5s? Hopefully those are in here. What's that? That's an i3. Ah, there we go, we've got an i5 there at 2.6 gig, I think. Or yeah, it's 2.66 gig. So that can probably go in that one from that IBM from the flooded basement. Those are i3s again, aren't they? There should be one more i5, I think, if I'm correct. Got an i3 there. Another i3 there. So one of these must be the i5. There we go. i5 at 3, is it? Is that 2.3? I can't quite read that very well, but we've got another i5 there anyway, which like I said is really what I bought these for. Like I said, they weren't expensive. And that's another Xeon, which I've got loads of anyway. So yeah, at least I've got a couple of some i3 and some i5 CPUs there that I can upgrade a few of the system boards I've got, which, I mean, they're obsolete basically, but I still have uses for them. I don't really want, if I can get a little bit more life out of them for another year, I'd rather do that than just get rid of them as they are now. It's all about trying to squeeze as much life out of your stuff as you can at the moment. Money is not abundant. I can't really work at the moment with my health, so struggling a little bit in that that respect. So I'm not buying loads of vintage stuff to play with. All the stuff I've been buying has been, you know, like really cheap, or it's been too good an opportunity to miss. So yeah, those will be being just used in just various computing projects rather than you know, for videos. Oh, and he threw in a syringe full of thermal paste as well, which I thought was quite cool. Which I was getting a little bit low on. I mean, it's probably not as good as the stuff that I've got, but I'm sure it's good for most stuff. So yeah, I think that was like just under 20 quid delivered for the entire box, which I didn't think was particularly bad. Right, we'll get that out of the way. I'll do a slurp of this. And right, the next car boot sale I went to was actually last Sunday, and again I shouldn't have gone because it was furiously hot. I didn't actually think it was going to be quite as hot as it turned up to be, and I ended up actually in a massive long traffic queue to get into the car boot sale, and my car doesn't have air conditioning, and I got very hot trying to actually get into the car boot sale, which I don't think help matters. But anyway, again I picked not very much up there, but what I did pick up was a couple of keyboards. Now you can never ever have too many keyboards, can you? Especially when they're cheap. Old PS2 and AT keyboards, if I see them going and they're reasonable, I'll grab them, because you try and pick one of these up on the likes of eBay now, and you'll have quite a surprise what people are asking for them. So like I said, whenever I see them going dirt cheap, I will grab them. They're nothing special, these. This is a Genius branded PS2 keyboard. We can tell by the Windows key, you know, it's after Windows 95 era. So it's probably very late 90s, probably early 2000s, something like that. It's got a reasonable amount of weight to it. The keys don't feel terrible. So that's keyboard 1. Keyboard 2, again, is probably about the same era, only difference being this is an AT keyboard. And you don't see that many AT keyboards out in the wild anymore. Obviously the larger 5-pin DIN socket there. It does have a little bit of yellow into it, but it types perfectly well. It has got all its little feet and everything for sitting it up, which, like I said, if you like that kind of thing, it's got them. It's a KTX brand, so I'm sure it's a cheap, you know, cheap, made in China, cheapo, like I said, end of the AT era style keyboard. But nowadays, if you need an AT keyboard, you can't just nip to the local computer shop and buy one, so you're stuck with what you've got. So anyway, I paid £1 each. They were £1 each, which, like I said, if I see them and they're 50p, £1, I will grab them, because if you need one, otherwise you're looking at what people want to pay for them on eBay, and I haven't seen one recently, you know, like an AT keyboard for under like £15–20, and that was, you know, something like this, a cheapo nasty one. So if you see them and they're going cheap, grab them. Right, I got one more thing from that Chelford car boot, and it's not computer related, but I think I'll include it in this video anyway. And it is, ooh, we've got a nice little vanity radio here. Let's see if we can get in it. There we go. It's got its original mains flex on it. It's a Vidor. Sadly it does seem to have a crack. Oh no, it's not a crack, it's where that lead has spent many years over there, and it has actually left a mark in the plastic. I actually think I have got, if not this radio, one very similar, only in a green covering rather than this like beigey browny coloured one. I just like these old radios, really. Slightly nice that this is a battery main set. To be honest, I don't really bother with the battery only ones anymore. I've got a few in my collection, but I would much rather have a battery mains because it means you can actually use it. Let me just get in here and we'll have a quick squiz inside it. Now, the chap that sold me this did say it works perfectly, it's fully working, he had it playing, and it does have a modern UK plug on it, so we will have a quick look how that's wired, and we will probably plug it in and see what this thing does. We will have a quick squiz inside it first and see there's nothing nasty in there. Now that should pop up now, we've got both them. What's holding that down? I missed something underneath? No. Or on the back? No. There we go. There's something in there that does not want that to open. There we go. We're in. Let's have a look what we've got in here. Rather like that. Basically you've got an auto disconnect here. So as you open the actual radio, it automatically disconnects the power. And that is exactly the same power connector as used on the back of a Bush DAC-90 radio. We do appear to have a mains transformer, which is, let me get you up slightly because you can't see that. There we go. We do seem to have a mains transformer there, which means that this is a set that we can potentially actually get working in a safe way. Some of these battery sets, they actually used the AC/DC technique, so one side of the chassis is connected to the mains. It doesn't appear to be the case in this one, like the other one that I've got. It does have a proper mains transformer. We've got an audio output transformer there as well. All miniature valves. DL94 output audio output valve there. What's that? DF91 there. All held down with these little elastic bands, which have basically gone. In fact, they're amazingly supple and stretchy. I mean, they've failed, but they're still amazingly supple and stretchy considering those are getting on for like 70 years old. So yeah, it doesn't actually look in a bad condition at all. Doesn't also look, doesn't also look like anyone's done any repair work to it. Let's have a quick squiz down here. It still has its original wax paper capacitors in there. We have a selenium stack rectifier there as well. And we have a date there of June 1954. So we know when this thing was made. This is from 1954. Very interesting indeed. couple of wires there, interestingly, that seem to be connected onto a couple of springs screwed to the side of the case, which I'm not 100% sure what that's all about. But anyway, the guy swore to me blind that this radio works. I can't see anything in there that just looks too nasty. Get that down a little bit. So that'll be our wave change there. Tone. Medium. It's got 3 positions. Unfortunately, all the legends and everything have worn off it, but I'm guessing one's off, one will be battery and one will be mains then for that. One of them will be tone, one will be volume, and that will be long wave and medium wave. Right. Shall we? In fact, we'll be reasonably safe. I've got my safety lamp here. We'll plug that in. Put the safety lamp in series. Let me just get this over a little bit so you can see the safety lamp. There we go. And we will, so I'll just have to, even though it's quite cool in the workshop, I'm still sweating quite profusely. Just even the effort of doing this is actually enough to break me out into a sweat. Right. Let's see how this has been wired, what fuse we've got in it. Oh, it's not terrible actually. We've got the correct 3 amp fuse in there. We've got a short live and a little bit more loop on the neutral there. The strain relief is reasonably tight. The terminals are tight. Bravo! Of course the cable is completely not up to code. Because it's got a mains transformer in there, potentially this could have a 3-core mains cable fitted to it. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do if I want to actually do something interesting with this radio. Right, we'll plug her in. We've got the lamp limiter plugged in there. We'll switch on. We're in circuit. Let's see if the radio will come on. Now of course we don't know whether that's set to mains or battery yet. There we go. We've got a hum. I think that's our tone. Our volume. It's trying, but hang on. There's also something wrong with the tuning because it's binding up before it's getting all the way over. It also doesn't hardly pulls any current at all. As you can see, the bulb's not even glowing, even though we've got that actually in circuit. Really? There we go.
Push chance the goalkeeper. Back for Pinocchio, Savani, Macchienko and Nicolenko Everton. As the match begins, the Bulgarian 3 gets us underway. Jogi Kabakov.
There's something wrong with the tuning, because I can't get to tune past that, but...
Sudakov, the promising young Sudakov to his right.
Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with the tuning. It's got stuck again. And we've got nothing on long wave, but then again we don't really anymore. Although we've not got any background, so I think there's something wrong with the long wave. See if that's got us to go a bit further that way. I'll switch it off at that. It did start going quiet then. I don't want to stress anything in there. Obviously, like I said, it's got all its original capacitors in there. I don't want to stress anything in there. But yeah, so basically the signs of life there is, I can't call this radio working in any way, shape or form, but it does have some basic signs of life there. What I'm wondering with this thing, it's a pity about the about that. I'd probably have to put a proper connector on the outside, but I'm wondering if we got rid of long wave on here, because no one uses long wave anymore. I think Radio 4, which is about the only thing on there, is due to go off air on long wave very soon. So really won't really be anything worth listening to on long wave. Medium wave, there's still a few stations on there. Not much of them are really worth listening to, but at least there's some stations on there. But if I was to get rid of the long wave band, I'm wondering whether I could make it so it's Bluetooth. So basically you'd have the medium wave radio, you'd flick over and you'd have a Bluetooth speaker. It would be a really cool retro valve Bluetooth speaker. I think that'd be quite a cool thing to do with it actually. Anyway, so that's kind of what I was thinking about this. I actually have either this radio or one very similar already, which I picked up last year or something for cheap as well. So yeah, I've got a nice little valve radio there. That was paid £5 for that, which yeah, I wouldn't pay any more than £5 for one of these, but I will buy them at a £5. Right, I really don't need to have that on while I'm messing with this thing, do I? So let's get rid of that, and we'll get this off the bench, because that can, I'll take the plug off it I think actually to make it, in fact I'll do that now before we go any further, because basically you're damaging the lid with having it on with a plug on like that. So we will plus that's a really nice plug. This can go into another set or something. There we go. It's a lot safer like that. Get that out of the way. I don't think that should come through there. I think that should come through there as well, which is also causing a problem. If you want, chaps, just fast forward through me messing about getting this right. There we go. So that wire there needs to go back there. That's it. Then we push that back down like that, and then when it's in storage it's not risking getting damaged. Righty ho. There, that's better. Put that to one side for now, and we'll get the final item. Now, this is what I went and picked up the other day. Actually, I took a trip from where I live up to Warrington. Like I said, it's around about 30 miles, so it's about a 60-mile round trip actually. And I went up to somewhere where I've picked up actually a few of my other systems, my Siemens CPLD programmer and things like that. One of my Toshiba laptops, they came from a company called is it We Charity. Basically they take old computers and refurbish them, and they sell off various vintage bits and bats on eBay. And I spotted this on eBay, and it had a price on it, and our offers was collect only. I put an offer in and my offer was accepted, so I went and collected it, and that is, ooh, if I can lift it up, ooh, there we go. Let's lift it up so you can see it. We have got a Amstrad PC 2286-40. Now, if anyone isn't quite familiar with the Amstrads, the Amstrad PCs started with the 1000 series, so you had the PC 1512 and 1640, which were XT class machines. And then after those machines, they started with the 2000 series machines. You had the 2086, the 2286, which I've got here, and you even had a 2386, which I believe was a 386DX CPU. Now, I like Amstrad PCs. I have, my first PC back in the 90s was an Amstrad. I think this was in '93. It was an Amstrad PC 1512 with a single 360k floppy drive, and that, like I said, that was my first introduction to IBM PCs. Before that, I'd had, C64s, a Commodore Amiga, stuff like that. It was my first foray into PCs, and this is not my first foray into the 2000 series either. I actually, back in the late 90s, my grandmother was bookkeeper for a local conservative club close to where she lived, and they had one of these. It was the PC 2086, so it was the XT version of this, as their accounts PC, and apparently it broke down, and they took it to the local computer shop to get it repaired, and the computer shop took one look at it and basically said it was not able to be repaired, it was too old, and would they like to buy a new Pentium computer. If anyone knows anyone that lives up in Oldham, they know that they're extremely tight people up there, and I think my grandmother basically suggested that I might be able to do something with it, which I did. I think if I remember correctly, the hard drive had failed in it, and it was the old XT IDE hard drive. And I think I ended up putting a old RLL hard drive and controller that I'd pulled out of another scrap system in it and got it working and got it all up and running again for them. So yeah, like I said, I have fiddled with one of these in the past. They usually come up on eBay for far more than I'm prepared to pay. This one was cheap. There was a reason it's cheap. One thing it's missing, its keyboard, it's missing its monitor. The monitor is not a problem. These things use standard VGA output. Unlike the earlier 1512 and 1640, which was basically CGA or EGA, but used very non-standard, incompatible monitors. This just used a standard VGA monitor. It has a standard power connector at the back. Basically, it's just got a mains lead coming off the back, unlike the 1512 and 1640 where the actual power supply for the computer was built into the monitor, this has a power supply built into it. And basically I think that's what's wrong with it. I got this as power on, tested and dead. So basically they plugged it in and it did absolutely nothing. So that is how we've got it here now. I'm not going to try and plug it in and power it up because that's what they've told me. They tried plugging it in and powering it up and it was completely dead. They put it on there as complete spares or repair. So I put an offer in and my offer was accepted, so I have it to fiddle with. We'll pop the back cover off. So I'm not going to tear into it today or anything. This is going to have its own, you know, dedicated video obviously. But if we pop in off the cover, we can tell we have we've got some sand down there, so it's definitely going to need some definitely going to need some work on it. But we've got a network card there. We've got quite a nice array of 16-bit ISA slots, and we have a video card, a hard disk controller card. Now that's the interesting thing with this. I didn't know when I bought it, it's only when I popped that front cover up. I've been doing a little bit of research on these, because even though it's an IBM PC, it's Amstrad. Nothing can be standard, nothing can be absolutely as it is with every other PC. Now, from what I could gather, originally when they brought these out, they wanted to actually use the XT IDE hard drive in all of them. They definitely use that in the 2086 version of this, because that's what I had to replace all them years ago. That was the standard XT IDE hard drive. But apparently they actually wanted to use that same hard drive in the 286 and 386 versions, but they couldn't get it to work properly. So as a last minute thing, what they did was they stuck a controller card in with an RLL 40 megabyte hard drive and just did it that way, and used an RLL 40 meg hard drive for them. Thing is, this one, you can tell by the 40 pin connector, that's not an RLL hard drive, that's IDE. So is this got some weird 16-bit XT IDE card with an XT IDE hard drive in it, and it was one of the very early ones that they were having problems with, and some reason it's got it? Or more likely, especially by what we see there, this has had its hard drive upgraded at some time in the past, and it actually does have a standard IDE controller in there and possibly a larger IDE hard drive rather than an RLL one, which would be very, very, very nice, because that would make it a lot easier for us to do some upgrades and things to it. The reason that makes me think that is here. Someone's wrote in permanent pen, Type 17 hard disk, batteries replaced, and it's on the 20th of the 10th, 1997. So had the hard drive, the old RLL hard drive in there failed, and they put a IDE card in there and an IDE hard drive, and you know, basically did a quick research service on it, because you know, 97, that would have been about the time that I repaired that one for the Conservative Club. So you know, these things were still well in use in, you know, late 90s, 97, 98. You could still find a 286 or 386 in actual, you know, proper use somewhere, especially if it was, you know, not a high processing task, bit of accounting, running a little bit of accounting software like that, a little bit of basic word processing. Something like this would still be doing its job absolutely perfectly. Oh, sorry, just need to refresh my mouth then. So yeah, other issue we've got with this computer is I didn't get the keyboard with it. Now, if you know of the Amstrad 1512 1640, they use a proprietary keyboard. and basically all the Amstrad computers from the 1000 series up to the 4000 series all use proprietary keyboards. Now, the reason behind that, apparently, now I didn't know this until I was doing a little bit of research recently. IBM actually own the copyright on how the keyboards on IBM computers work, how the protocol and everything, how the keyboard and the computer talk and everything. And basically everyone else has just ignored it and just copied it. Amstrad didn't. Amstrad came up with their entirely own protocol of how the keyboard interfaces actually with the keyboard controller and everything. So they couldn't be sued by IBM if IBM ever wanted to, because they weren't copying anything of IBM's. It was completely their own system, their own way of doing it. Unfortunately, that does mean that we can't just get a standard PC keyboard and plug it into this. We can't even get a standard PC keyboard, rewire the connector, because this uses a non-standard, not on that side, that's the disk drive side. On this side, it does use a non-standard proprietary, is it a 5-pin DIN for its keyboard there. So it's not a standard AT keyboard input. Now, what I am hoping, I've been doing some research and I get like conflicting things. Is the keyboard on the earlier, like 1512, 1640, will not fit. It actually has an extra pin in the centre. But it also has the mouse on the keyboard, as where this has the mouse there at the side of the keyboard port. I believe that Amstrad actually used the same protocol no matter what the computer was. It just wasn't the same as IBM's protocol. So whether it was the AT or the XT version, that keyboard protocol was the same throughout all Amstrads. The only thing that changed was the actual connector that plugged it into the computer. Now, if that's the case, I should be able to take the keyboard from my Amstrad 1640, make a little adapter up between the two different DIN plugs, and be able to use this with the keyboard for my Amstrad 1640. I am really hoping that is going to work, because keyboards for this, it's going to cost me, there's one I saw on eBay at the moment for this computer. It was in Hungary. I think he wanted nearly £60 for the keyboard with about another £30 postage on it. I only paid £30 for the, well, £30 plus whatever petrol it cost me to go and get it, but that's all I paid for the whole computer. So if my keyboard is not going to be compatible, it is going to take us a while, because I'm just going to have to keep searching until I actually find a compatible keyboard at a sensible price. But I mean, that's not going to stop us actually seeing whether we can actually initially get this thing to fire up. We might even be able to pull the hard drive, interrogate that on another system, see if that's going to work. We've got the floppy to see if we can get that working. This is going to be an interesting project, but I'll probably get some of my other projects out of the way first, and this, I'll save probably this till winter, until it's cold and nasty, and I can sit in the workshop a little bit more than I can at the moment. I am sorry, but I'm again drenched in sweat. Even talking to the camera is becoming a bit of an effort at the moment. So yeah, those are basically all the bits I've been picking up while I've been absent from making videos. I hope to be trying to make some videos again soon, but I can't promise anything with the way that my health is at the moment. I'm just trying to basically rest, take it easy as much as I can, and hope that my health improves, and possibly, hopefully, the weather perhaps cools down a little bit. That's going to help me anyway. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this little show and telly pickups, you know, why I've not been making videos, a type of video. So I'll say, hope you enjoyed that. I will, like I said, I will try and get something out as soon as I feel fit and able. So I will say, thanks for watching and goodbye.